The signal. The signal arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, cutting through centuries of cosmic silence. Dr. Elena Reyes was halfway through her coffee when the Deep Space Monitoring Array at Lunar Base Artemis lit up with activity. At first, she thought it was a glitch, the kind that had plagued the system since its installation 3 years ago. But as she ran the standard diagnostic protocols, her heart began to race. "This can't be right," she whispered, fingers flying across the holographic interface. The signal was structured, repeating in a pattern too precise to be natural. More importantly, it was transmitting on a frequency that Earth had broadcast into space nearly 2 centuries ago, before the great withdrawal that followed humanity's catastrophic first contact with the Vex Collective. For 180 years, Earth had maintained its isolation policy. After barely surviving the Vex incursion that decimated half of Asia and most of Australia, humanity had turned inward, developing defensive technologies while avoiding any further extraterrestrial contact. Interstellar exploration had been abandoned. Communication attempts from beyond the solar system were ignored. Earth had become a fortress, silent and watchful. Until now. Director Cato. Elena's voice trembled slightly as she contacted her superior. "We have a situation." 12 hours later, the United Earth Defense Council convened in their underground chamber beneath Geneva. The room buzzed with tension as Admiral Cato presented the findings. "The signal contains embedded information," he explained, projecting a 3-dimensional representation of the transmission. "It's not just a beacon, it's a message, and it's addressed specifically to Earth." Councillor Mbeki, representative for the African Union, leaned forward. "What does it say?" Cato nodded to Elena, who stood and cleared her throat. "The message translates roughly to, 'Humanity of Earth, we are the Lyran Concordat. We know of your past with the Vex. We face a common enemy. They come for you next. Help us, and we may help each other survive." The chamber erupted in voices. Some councillors immediately called for reinforcing Earth's defenses, others demanded verification, while a few brave souls suggested responding to the plea. Silence. Fleet Admiral Chang's voice cut through the chaos. The veteran of the Vex War stood, her weathered face grave. "We cannot repeat the mistakes of the past, but neither can we hide forever. I propose a reconnaissance mission, carefully planned, heavily armed, ready to withdraw at the first sign of danger." After 3 days of heated debate, the Council approved the mission. The UES Dauntless, Earth's most advanced stealth vessel, was commissioned for the task. Its crew was handpicked, the best scientists, soldiers, and diplomats humanity had to offer. Commander Darius Shaw, a tactical genius with a reputation for caution, was given command. Elena joined as the chief communications specialist, alongside Dr. Makoto Ishikawa, Earth's foremost xenobiologist, and Major Amara Okafor, who led a contingent of elite Special Forces soldiers. As the Dauntless prepared to depart, Admiral Chang delivered final orders to Commander Shaw in private. "Find out what we're dealing with, but remember, Earth's safety comes first. If there's even a hint of deception, you get our people home." Shaw nodded grimly. "And if the threat is real, then gather all the intelligence you can. We'll need every advantage." The journey to the coordinates embedded in the message took 3 weeks, even with the Dauntless's advanced propulsion system. As they approached the designated star system, tension aboard the ship reached a breaking point. Dropping out of FTL in 3, 2, 1, Lieutenant Reyes announced from the helm. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a binary star system with multiple planets, and orbiting the 3rd planet, a sight that made Elena's breath catch in her throat. "Multiple artificial structures detected," reported Tactical Officer Chen, "and signs of recent weapons discharge. There's been a battle here." Before them hung a massive space station, its elegant design unlike anything humanity had created. Parts of it were damaged, with sections exposed to space. Surrounding it were the remains of smaller vessels, some still burning with exotic energy reactions. Life signs. Shaw asked, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Yes, Commander. The station contains approximately 3,000 entities, with biosignatures unlike anything in our database. Shaw made the call. Yellow alert. Shields at maximum. Open a channel using the response protocols Dr. Rice developed. Alina's message was simple. Lyran Concordat, this is the UES Dauntless from Earth. We received your distress call and have come to investigate. The response was immediate. A holographic figure materialized on the bridge, humanoid but clearly alien, with iridescent skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Humans of Earth, it spoke in accented but understandable English. I am Ambassador Nexer of the Lyran Concordat. Your arrival brings hope in our darkest hour. The alien explained their situation. The Lyrans were an ancient species dedicated to knowledge preservation and peaceful exploration. For millennia, they had observed other civilizations from afar, including Earth. They had witnessed humanity's conflict with the Vex and understood the resulting isolation policy. The enemy that attacks us now makes the Vex look merciful, Nexer explained. They call themselves the Harvesters. They do not conquer, they consume. Entire worlds stripped of resources, populations enslaved for labor until they are no longer useful. They have already taken 17 systems in our region of space. Commander Shaw remained cautious. Why contact Earth now? What can we offer that your advanced civilization cannot? Nexer's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Because humans possess something the Harvesters have never encountered, something even we find remarkable. And what's that? Asked Alina. Adaptability. Creative problem-solving. The capacity to face overwhelming odds and still triumph. We have studied your history, your countless wars, your technological leaps born from crisis. The Harvesters rely on overwhelming force and predictable patterns. They have never faced an opponent who thinks as uniquely as humans do. Major Okafor stepped forward. You want us to fight your war. I am proposing an alliance, Nexer corrected. The Harvesters have already charted a course for your solar system. It is not a matter of if they will come for Earth, but when. Together, we might stand a chance. Commander Shaw ordered a full scan of the system and deployed reconnaissance drones to verify the ambassador's claims. The evidence was undeniable. A massive enemy fleet was indeed assembling at the edge of the system, preparing for another assault. Dr. Ishikawa analyzed biological samples from destroyed harvester ships. These beings are partially synthetic, integrated technology and biology. They appear to consume both organic and inorganic materials to expand their collective. Alina discovered something equally disturbing. Commander, I've analyzed their communication patterns. The Harvesters are using frequencies identical to those used by the Vex during their attack on Earth. Shaw's expression darkened. They're connected. Ambassador Nexer confirmed their suspicions. The Vex were merely scouts, an advance force testing Earth's defenses. The Harvesters use smaller collectives to assess potential conquests. Your victory against the Vex was unprecedented. It is why they have spent nearly 2 centuries preparing before returning. A council of war was convened aboard the Dauntless. The Lyrans shared their advanced technology and knowledge of the Harvesters, while the humans offered tactical insights and unconventional strategies. We need to warn Earth, Shaw decided. Major Okafor, prepare your team. We're sending you back with all the data we've collected. And you, Commander? Alina asked, already suspecting the answer. Shaw looked at the damaged Lyran station visible through the viewport. The rest of us are staying. We're going to help the Lyrans prepare and learn everything we can about fighting these Harvesters. As Major Okafor's team departed for Earth in a high-speed shuttle, carrying crucial intelligence and Lyran technology, Shaw turned to Alina. Send a message to Admiral Chang. Tell her that humanity's isolation is over. We've found enemies worse than the Vex, but we've also found allies. And tell her to prepare for war. Alina nodded, a mixture of fear and determination coursing through her. What are your orders, Commander? Shaw's gaze hardened as he watched the harvester fleet in the distance, their ships like dark predators waiting to strike. We do what humans do best, Doctor. We adapt. We innovate. And we show these harvesters what happens when they threaten our world. As the Dauntless moved into position alongside Lyran defenders, humanity took its first step back into the galactic community, not with exploration or diplomacy, but with the grim resolve of a species that would not be consumed without a fight. The preparation. Major Amara Okafor's shuttle emerged from the quantum gate at the edge of the solar system, immediately broadcasting the emergency recognition codes. Within minutes, Earth's defense platforms had locked onto the vessel, and a wing of interceptors moved to escort it to lunar base Artemis. The data she carried sent shockwaves through the United Earth Defense Council. The evidence is conclusive, Admiral Qiang announced to the assembled leaders. The Harvester fleet will reach our system within 6 months. This is no longer about whether we should break our isolation. It's about survival. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices until Councillor Mbeki slammed his palm on the table. Enough. We've spent 2 centuries preparing for this very scenario. It's time to implement the Phoenix protocols. The vote was unanimous. For the first time since the Vex War, Earth activated its full military capabilities. Orbital defense platforms that had sat dormant for decades hummed to life. Hidden shipyards beneath the lunar surface began accelerating production of vessels designed specifically to combat the tactics used by the Vex, and now, with Major Okafor's intelligence, modified to counter the harvesters. At the Geneva Institute of Advanced Technologies, Dr. Samira Hassan led a team working to integrate Lyran technology with human weapon systems. The Lyrans developed incredible defensive capabilities, but their offensive technology is limited by their philosophical constraints. She explained to Admiral Qiang during an inspection. We don't share those constraints. In the holographic display before them, a simulation showed a human destroyer equipped with Lyran shield technology engaging a harvester vessel. The results were promising. How soon can we retrofit the fleet? Qiang asked. The first ships will be ready in 6 weeks. Full deployment in 4 months. We need it faster, Qiang insisted. What about the Mjolnir program? Hassan's expression grew serious. The kinetic bombardment system is nearly operational, but without testing. We'll test it on the first harvesters that enter our system. Qiang cut in. And the Lazarus Project? Still theoretical. We understand the principles of the Lyran regenerative technology, but adapting it for combat applications is proving challenging. Meanwhile, at lunar base Artemis, Alina's younger brother Marco Reyes worked with a team of communication specialists to establish a quantum entanglement link with the Dauntless, allowing instantaneous communication despite the vast distance. The first transmission brought both relief and concern. Commander Shaw reporting. The hologram flickered in the secure communications chamber. The Lyran station has been fortified, and we've successfully repelled 2 harvester scouting parties. But their main fleet is mobilizing sooner than expected. Marco leaned forward. Elena? Is she? Dr. Rice is fine, Shaw assured him. In fact, her work has been invaluable. She's established communication with 3 other species who've suffered harvester attacks. We're coordinating a multi-pronged defense. Admiral Qiang stepped into view. What's your assessment, Commander? Shaw's expression was grim. The harvesters are unlike anything in our records. They learn and adapt with each engagement, incorporating captured technology and biology into their collective. But they have weaknesses. They rely on a centralized communication network. Disrupt that, and their coordination falters. Can the Lyran technology help us exploit this? Yes, but there's more. Shaw's hologram gestured, and a secondary display activated showing technical schematics. Dr. Ishikawa has discovered something about their biology. The harvester ships aren't just vessels. They're extensions of the collective organism. Attack the right nodes, and the entire system destabilizes. This intelligence proved crucial as Earth's scientists and engineers worked around the clock to develop targeted weapon systems. The Lyran shield technology was successfully integrated into Earth's defensive grid, and the first fleet of retrofitted warships began space trials. 3 months into the preparations, the first Harvester scout ship entered the solar system. It emerged near Neptune's orbit, immediately scanning the surroundings. Earth's long-range sensors detected it, but instead of attacking immediately, Admiral Chung ordered a stealth observation satellite to monitor the intruder. "Let's see what it does," she ordered. Every bit of intelligence helps. For 2 days, the Harvester scout methodically scanned the outer planets, seemingly unaware it was being watched. Then, without warning, it launched a series of probes toward the inner system. "Intercept those probes," Xiang commanded. "Don't let them report back." The UES Artemis, a fast attack frigate equipped with the new Lyran human hybrid technology, moved to engage. The resulting skirmish was brief but informative. The Harvester probes exhibited advanced evasive capabilities, but were ultimately destroyed. The scout ship, upon detecting the loss of its probes, immediately changed course to investigate. "Now we spring the trap," Xiang said coldly. The Artemis appeared to retreat, drawing the Harvester scout toward a seemingly empty region of space. As the alien vessel pursued, Admiral Xiang gave the command, "Activate Mjolnir." From hidden positions among the Kuiper Belt objects, 5 kinetic strike platforms released their payloads. The specialized projectiles, traveling at a significant fraction of light speed and cloaked with Lyran stealth technology, hit the Harvester ship simultaneously. The alien vessel never had a chance to evade. It shattered into fragments, secondary explosions rippling through its biomechanical structure as critical systems failed catastrophically. "Analysis confirms complete destruction," reported the Artemis's captain. "No distress signal detected." Admiral Chung nodded grimly. "Collect as much debris as you can for study, and maintain alert status. Where there's one scout, others will follow." She was right. Within weeks, 3 more Harvester scouts entered the system from different vectors. Each was allowed to penetrate just far enough to gather false intelligence planted by Earth's forces before being methodically destroyed. Back on Earth, the final phase of preparations began. Civilian populations were moved to hardened shelters beneath major cities. The orbital defense grid was brought to full readiness, and in shipyards throughout the solar system, the combined human Lyran fleet took shape. At the Geneva Institute, Dr. Hassan made a breakthrough with the Lazarus Project. "It works," she told Admiral Chung, her eyes bright with excitement despite her exhaustion. "We've successfully integrated the Lyran regenerative matrix with our hull materials. The ships can now repair moderate damage during battle." "And the offensive applications?" Xiang asked. Hassan activated another display. "We've developed what we're calling dissolution charges. They target the specific biological components of Harvester ships, breaking down the connections between their organic and mechanical systems." The Admiral studied the weapon schematics. "How many can we produce before the main fleet arrives?" "Enough for our primary vessels. The manufacturing process is complex but..." Alarms blared throughout the facility, cutting off Hassan's explanation. Admiral Chung's communication implant activated immediately. "Admiral, multiple quantum disturbances detected at the system's edge," reported the urgent voice of the Solar Defense Command. "Large-scale fleet emergence in progress." Xiang's expression hardened. "How many?" "Initial count shows over 300 vessels of various classes. Configuration matches Commander Shaw's intelligence on Harvester battle groups. Time to Earth. At their current acceleration, 72 hours. Admiral Chung looked at Dr. Hassan. "Deploy everything we have. The real test is about to begin." Throughout the solar system, humanity's defensive forces moved into predetermined positions. The elaborate strategy developed over months of preparation was now activated. Stealth platforms positioned near Jupiter and Saturn powered up their disruption fields. Minefield arrays scattered throughout the asteroid belt armed their proximity sensors. On the quantum entanglement link, Commander Shaw's transmission arrived from the Lyran station. The Harvester fleet has split in two, he reported. Half their forces remain in this sector, besieging the Lyran homeworld. The rest are heading for Earth, as we predicted. What's their condition? Xiang asked. They've taken damage from engagements with the Lyrans and other allied species, but they're still formidable. And Admiral, they've begun converting captured ships and crews. Be prepared for biological and technological adaptation during battle. Xiang nodded grimly. We're as ready as we can be. Your intelligence has been invaluable, Commander. Shaw's hologram flickered. There's one more thing. Dr. Rice has developed a method to temporarily disrupt their hive mind communication. If synchronized properly, it could give us a critical advantage. The data package that followed contained Alina's breakthrough, a complex algorithm that could generate counter-frequencies to the Harvester's neural network. As Earth made its final preparations, a message was broadcast to every corner of human territory, delivered by the Unified Council. Citizens of Earth and her colonies, for 2 centuries we have stood apart from the galaxy, healing our wounds and building our strength. Today, we face a threat greater than the Vex, a threat to our very existence. But we do not face it unprepared, nor do we face it alone. Humanity has friends among the stars, and together we will show these harvesters the error of threatening our world. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Xiang stood on the bridge of the UES Defender, Earth's most powerful warship. Around her, a fleet of over 200 vessels prepared for battle, their crews ready, their weapons armed with technologies that had not existed months earlier. As the Harvester fleet approached Mars orbit, Xiang gave her final order to the assembled fleet. All vessels, execute Operation Thunderbolt. Show these monsters what happens when they threaten humanity. The human fleet accelerated toward the oncoming enemy, not as the isolated, fearful civilization the Harvesters expected to find, but as a terrible force awakened from dormancy, prepared, united, and utterly determined to survive. The unleashing. The first engagement occurred near the orbit of Mars. The Harvester fleet, a writhing mass of biomechanical ships resembling nothing so much as predatory deep-sea creatures, moved in perfect coordination. Their formation spoke of absolute confidence, the confidence of conquerors who had consumed countless worlds. Earth's defense fleet held position behind a red planet, sensors tracking the enemy's approach. Admiral Xiang stood motionless on the Defender's bridge, watching tactical displays as the distance closed. They're maintaining attack formation, reported her tactical officer. No indication they've detected our stealth platforms. Xiang nodded. Time until they reach the first minefield. 3 minutes, Admiral. She opened a fleet-wide channel. All vessels hold position. Weapon systems hot, but hold fire until my command. Let them come to us. The Harvester Vanguard entered the carefully prepared killing zone, a region of space seeded with Lyran-enhanced proximity mines and surrounded by stealth weapons platforms. Still, they detected nothing, their sensors confused by the countermeasures developed from Commander Shaw's intelligence. Mjolnir platforms in position, the tactical officer reported. Dissolution charges armed. Xiang's eyes narrowed. Execute Phase 1. Throughout the minefield, quantum triggers activated simultaneously. The space around the leading Harvester vessels erupted in a synchronized pattern of explosions, each precisely calculated to drive the enemy into a predetermined path. The Harvesters responded with remarkable speed, their ships breaking formation to evade the unexpected assault. But their evasive patterns led them directly into the waiting crossfire of Earth's hidden platforms. Beams of concentrated energy sliced through the biomechanical hulls of a dozen Harvester ships. The specialized dissolution charges detonated on impact, spreading engineered nanites that attacked the organic components of their hybrid technology. Direct hits on 17 targets, reported the tactical officer. 11 confirmed destroyed, 6 showing critical system failures. But the Harvesters adapted quickly. Their remaining ships altered their hull resonance, reducing the effectiveness of the dissolution charges. Energy shields flickered to life around their vessels, deflecting subsequent attacks. They're learning, Xiang observed, just as Shaw warned. Begin Phase 2. Earth's fleet emerged from behind Mars, accelerating toward the disrupted Harvester formation. The human vessels moved in seemingly chaotic patterns, their trajectories unpredictable yet perfectly coordinated. The Harvesters responded by concentrating fire on the largest human ships, but found their target acquisition systems struggling to maintain locks. The Lyran stealth technology, combined with the erratic movement patterns, made Earth's vessels frustratingly elusive targets. Meanwhile, Alina's disruptor algorithm was transmitted across all frequencies, bombarding the Harvester neural network with contradictory commands. Throughout the enemy fleet, coordination began to falter. "It's working," Xiang said as the tactical display showed growing confusion in the Harvester movements. "All cruiser groups engage at will. Frigate squadrons implement isolation protocols." Earth's smaller vessels darted between the larger Harvester ships, separating them from the collective and targeting their communication nodes. Once isolated, the human cruisers moved in to deliver precise, devastating strikes. The battle raged for hours, spreading across the inner solar system as the Harvesters attempted to regroup. Their initial numerical advantage began to erode as Earth's forces implemented their carefully prepared strategies. Then, the tide turned. A massive Harvester vessel, nearly twice the size of any previously encountered, emerged from the center of their formation. Its surface rippled with bioluminescence as it absorbed damaged smaller ships, incorporating their mass into itself. "Admiral," the science officer's voice was tense, "we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the central vessel. Configuration suggests a gravimetric weapon." Xiang didn't hesitate. "All ships, maximum distance. Activate Lazarus protocols." The human fleet scattered as the Harvester mothership released its weapon, a wave of distorted spacetime that crushed everything in its path. 3 Earth vessels were caught in the effect, their structures compressing catastrophically despite their shields. "Damage report," Xiang demanded. "The Jakarta, Seoul, and Cairo destroyed," came the grim response. "Kinetic platforms in Sectors 7 through 12 disabled." The Admiral's expression hardened. "Reconfigure remaining platforms for simultaneous strike on the mothership. Focus all dissolution charges on its propulsion nodes." As Earth's forces regrouped, a quantum alert sounded on the communications console. "Admiral, unknown vessels emerging at the system edge." Xiang tensed, fearing reinforcements for the Harvesters. Then the tactical display updated, and a rare smile crossed her face. "It appears our allies have arrived." A fleet of Lyran vessels, accompanied by ships of designs never before seen by human eyes, accelerated toward the battle. At their center flew the UES Dauntless, scared but unmistakable. Commander Shaw's voice came through the quantum link. "Sorry we're late, Admiral. We had to gather a few friends on the way." The Allied fleet hit the Harvester rear guard with devastating precision. The Lyrans deployed their advanced defensive technology to absorb the gravimetric attacks, while the other alien vessels, sleek, organic designs from the Novan Collective, and angular, crystalline ships of the Tauri Ascendancy, attacked with weapons humans had never witnessed before. Caught between 2 forces, the Harvester fleet began to fragment. Their neural network, already disrupted by Alina's algorithm, collapsed further as key command nodes were destroyed. "This is our moment," Xiang told her fleet. "All vessels, execute final protocol." Authorization, Xiang Phoenix Omega. Throughout the solar system, Earth's defensive platforms activated their final programming. Massive energy collectors that had been gathering solar energy for months released their stored power in synchronized bursts, creating a web of destructive force that enveloped the disorganized Harvester fleet. The Harvester mothership, recognizing the imminent threat, attempted a desperate maneuver, a quantum jump within the solar system itself, aiming for Earth. "It's trying to reach the planet," shouted the tactical officer. "Not on my watch," Xiang replied coldly. "Defender, set intercept course. Prepare the Excalibur protocol." The UES Defender accelerated to maximum speed, placing itself directly in the mothership's path. The two vessels collided in a catastrophic impact that should have destroyed them both. But the Defender, enhanced with Lyran regenerative technology, held together. Its specialized penetrator prow drove deep into the Harvester mothership's core. "Penetration confirmed," reported the tactical officer, his voice tight with tension. Excalibur armed. Admiral Xiang opened a direct channel to the Harvester vessel. "You came to consume us. Instead, you will learn why humanity was left alone for so long. It wasn't for our protection. It was for yours." She gave the final command. "Execute Excalibur." Deep within the Harvester mothership, the most closely guarded product of Earth's 2 centuries of isolated development activated. A quantum destabilization device that targeted the specific frequency of the Harvester collective consciousness. The mothership convulsed as the weapon released its energy, disrupting the very fabric that held the collective together. The effect cascaded through the neural network, jumping from ship to ship across the Harvester fleet. One by one, the biomechanical vessels began to fail, their coordinated actions devolving into chaos as the controlling intelligence fragmented. The Harvester invasion collapsed in less than 30 minutes after the Excalibur protocol activated. Those few vessels not destroyed outright drifted powerless, their organic components no longer integrated with their mechanical systems. In the aftermath, the Allied fleet gathered around Earth. For the first time in 2 centuries, vessels from multiple alien civilizations entered orbit around humanity's homeworld, not as invaders, but as allies. On the Defender's bridge, Admiral Xiang welcomed Commander Shaw, Dr. Elena Reyes, and Ambassador Nexer of the Lyran Concordat. "The threat has been neutralized," Xiang reported formally, "but at significant cost." Commander Shaw nodded grimly. "This was only one fleet, Admiral. Our intelligence suggests at least 3 more Harvester collectives exist in nearby galactic sectors." "Then our work is just beginning," Xiang replied. She turned to Ambassador Nexer. "Your assessment of humanity was correct. Ambassador, we do possess a unique perspective on war and survival." The Lyran's 4 eyes blinked in their curious sequential pattern. "Indeed. Your species accomplished in months what our Concordat could not achieve in years of conflict. The other allied civilizations are most impressed." Elena stepped forward. "The data we've gathered from the destroyed Harvester ships is invaluable. Combined with Lyran science and contributions from our new allies, we can develop more effective countermeasures for the next encounter." Admiral Qiang looked out at the gathered fleet, human vessels alongside alien ships of various designs, all united by a common purpose. For 2 centuries, humanity hid from the stars, nursing our wounds and building our strength in isolation. We thought we were protecting ourselves from a hostile universe. She paused, her gaze moving from ship to ship. Instead, we were preparing for this moment, when the galaxy would need the unique fury that only humanity can unleash. Ambassador Nexer made a gesture of agreement. "The Harvesters believe your isolation made you vulnerable. They did not understand that a species that turns inward doesn't necessarily grow weaker. Sometimes, it emerges transformed." On view screens throughout Earth's cities, crowds watched as the combined fleet performed a ceremonial flyby. For the first time since the Vex War, humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with the confidence of a species that had faced extinction and emerged victorious. In the council chamber beneath Geneva, the United Earth Defense Council convened to consider their new reality. The isolation policy was formally dissolved, replaced by the alliance protocols that would guide humanity's reintegration into the galactic community. As preparations began for the next phase of the conflict, taking the fight to the remaining Harvester collectives, Commander Shaw found Elena on an observation deck, watching Earth rotate slowly below them. "Your brother asked me to give you this," he said, handing her a small holographic projector. "He said it might help you understand what happened while we were away." The projector activated, showing images of Earth's transformation, the awakening of dormant technologies, the construction of the defensive fleet, the global unity that had emerged in the face of the threat. "We always had this potential," Elena said softly. "We just needed the right catalyst to unleash it." Shaw nodded. The harvesters expected to find a traumatized civilization hiding from the stars. Instead, they woke a sleeping giant. Far beyond the solar system, in the void between stars, automated beacons transmitted a new message to any harvester collectives that might be approaching. It contained no plea for help, no desperate call for allies. Instead, it carried a simple warning, backed by the combined technological signatures of humanity and its new allies. "Earth is protected. Approach at your peril." The message concluded with a data package, recordings of the harvester fleet's destruction, proof that humanity's wrath, once unleashed, was a force that even the galaxy's apex predators could not withstand. Humanity's isolation had ended, not with exploration or diplomacy, but with a demonstration of terrible power that would echo across the stars, a reminder to all that some worlds are not prey. They are predators, and Earth was the most dangerous of them all.